Level 1, the errand boy. It starts with a call at 2:13 a.m. No greeting, just an address in Shinjuku and a warning not to be late. Rain follows you through the neon streets. Your shoes soak through before you even find the building. Fourth floor, no sign outside, just a steel door and a camera above the frame. The door unlocks with a buzz. Inside, the room smells like cigarettes, whiskey, and wet coats. 6 men sit around a low table. Nobody looks at you immediately. That is deliberate. You learn quickly that attention inside this world is currency. If they ignore you, it means you are still worthless. A man with silver hair slides a black envelope across the table. Take it to Yokohama, no stops. That's it, no explanation. You bow too deeply anyway. The envelope contains 480,000 yen in cash. You do not check until you're already on the train. Your hands shake while counting it, not because of the money, because now you are responsible for it. You spend the next 3 months doing jobs nobody else wants, delivering packages, cleaning blood from apartment floors, standing outside hostess clubs in the cold for 6-hour shifts. You learn the hierarchy fast. At the bottom are boys like you, disposable. Above you are the kobun, sworn younger brothers, men trusted enough to collect debts and enforce discipline. Above them are captains who controlled territory, then lieutenants, then the executives who rarely appear in public, and somewhere above all of them sits the oyabun, the father, the man nobody speaks about casually. You learn the rules faster than the language of violence itself. Never speak first, never sit before being told, never ask where money comes from, and never ever embarrass the family in public. The first time you witness punishment, it happens in silence. A collector loses 3 million yen gambling. The room stays calm while he apologizes. Then someone places a knife in front of him. Yubitsume, finger shortening. You watch him cut off part of his little finger with a white cloth stuffed in his mouth to stop the screaming. Nobody flinches. Afterward, everyone continues eating dinner. You force yourself to finish your rice too. That night, you throw up behind a vending machine. But the next morning, you still answer your phone. That is the first real test. Not violence, consistency. The organization wants to know whether fear can control you or whether ambition already does. By month 6, people remember your name. Barely. You start receiving small percentages from collections. 40,000 yen here, 70,000 yen there. Enough to buy tailored suits and stop worrying about rent. Your mother notices the watch first. You tell her you work in logistics. She pretends to believe you. You both understand the arrangement. The strange part is how quickly normal life begins feeling distant. Friends stop calling because you never answer. You stop visiting home because you hate lying. The family becomes easier, simpler. Inside the hierarchy, everybody understands exactly what matters. Money, respect, obedience. Nothing else complicates things. For the first time in your life, you feel useful. That feeling becomes addictive. Level 2, the collector. The first debt collection changes you. A nightclub owner in Kabukicho owes 12 million yen after borrowing protection money he cannot repay. You arrive with 2 other men at 11:40 p.m. The owner keeps smiling when you enter. That means he's scared. People smile too much when they're scared. He explains market conditions, slow business, tourists disappearing, bad month. One of the older collectors calmly smashes a whiskey bottle across the man's mouth. No shouting, no threats, just blood running down an expensive suit. You pay because we allowed you to survive long enough to owe us, the collector says. Then he leaves. You stay behind to count cash from the office safe. 4.6 million yen. Not enough. The owner asks quietly whether they will kill him. You hear yourself answering before thinking. Depends if you make them ask twice. That sentence bothers you later. Not because it's cruel, because it sounds natural. Weeks pass. Collections become routine. Construction firms, gambling rooms, massage parlors operating after curfew, illegal casinos hidden beneath ramen shops. You start carrying 2 phones, one for normal life, one for work. Eventually, you stop charging the normal one. You begin understanding the real currency of the organization is not violence, it is reputation. Most debts get paid before threats become necessary, because everybody already knows what happens otherwise. Stories travel faster than bullets. One collector once drowned a man in 20 centimeters of bathwater for skimming profits. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Doesn't matter. People pay. Your income jumps dramatically. Some months, you clear 1.8 million yen after cuts. Cash comes in rubber-banded stacks inside gym bags. You move into a high-rise apartment overlooking Tokyo Bay. Everything becomes cleaner, sharper, more expensive. But freedom quietly disappears. You cannot date normally anymore. Questions become dangerous. You cannot get drunk in public because every mistake reflects upward through the hierarchy. You cannot walk away because now you owe people favors. That's how the system traps everyone, not with fear, with investment. The first time you hit someone yourself, it feels strangely administrative. A mechanic refuses payment terms. You break 2 of his fingers with a hammer while another man holds him down. The sound stays with you longer than the blood. You expect guilt afterward. Instead, you mostly feel relief, because now you know you can do it. That realization changes the way you see yourself. And once violence becomes possible, it slowly becomes practical. Level 3, the Sworn Brother. The ceremony happens in a private tatami room above a restaurant nobody can afford publicly. You kneel beside a lacquered table while sake is poured into ceremonial cups. The Oyabun finally sits across from you. You have only seen him twice before. He speaks softly enough that everyone else leans forward to hear him. Loyalty creates order, he says. Order creates profit. Then you drink. That makes you Kobun, a sworn younger brother, no longer disposable, now accountable. The promotion comes with territory. 3 streets in Chiba, small gambling dens, loan collections, 2 host clubs paying monthly protection. You supervise 8 men. One of them is older than you. That matters, because now authority depends less on fear and more on control. You start learning the economics behind organized crime. The family launders roughly 400 million yen annually through restaurants, shipping firms, and real estate fronts. Political donations buy police warnings. Police warnings protect businesses. Businesses fund politicians. Everybody pretends the system is separate. It isn't. You begin attending meetings with businessmen who smile too much and bow too deeply, men who publicly condemn gangs while privately paying for favors. A councilman once asks your group to intimidate a journalist investigating campaign finances. No blood, no witnesses, just pressure. You corner the journalist outside her apartment and explain that publishing certain stories creates unnecessary risks. She understands. Most people do. That becomes the disturbing truth about power. You rarely need to force anyone. People cooperate because they know resistance has consequences they cannot calculate. Your men begin treating you differently too. They laugh harder at your jokes. They wait for your approval before speaking. One recruit follows you around like a younger version of yourself. Hungry, eager, still human enough to feel nervous. You catch him staring during a beating once. The same way you used to stare. You tell him to keep watching. Fear fades faster than you think. You realize afterward that someone once said the same thing to you. By now your hands no longer shake. Not during collections, not during violence, not even during police questioning. Because the hierarchy teaches emotional discipline better than any school ever could. Feelings create hesitation. Hesitation creates mistakes. Mistakes cost everyone money. One winter night, your closest friend inside the family disappears. No warning, no explanation. His apartment sits empty by morning. Nobody says he's dead, nobody has to. You understand another rule then. Inside this world, loyalty matters until it becomes inconvenient. After that, silence replaces you. Level 4, the Enforcer. The knife enters beneath the ribs easier than you expected. That thought haunts you more than the killing itself. The target is a rival courier from Osaka moving methamphetamine through Yokohama docks without permission. You intercept him in a parking garage at 1:07 a.m. No speeches, no dramatic fight. Just quick movement and warm blood soaking through gloves. He dies looking confused. You dispose of the body inside an industrial furnace owned by a company connected to the family. By sunrise, nothing remains except a missing person report nobody seriously investigates. You sleep 6 hours afterward. That scares you. Not the murder, the sleep. At this level, violence becomes strategic. You are no longer collecting debts personally. You manage pressure campaigns, intimidation schedules, surveillance, enforcement operations. 3 captains now report to you. Your monthly earnings exceed 6 million yen. Custom suits arrive tailored from Ginza. Women notice you instantly. Politicians suddenly return phone calls. Doors open without waiting. But paranoia enters your life with equal force. You vary routes home every night. You carry a pistol illegally imported through South Korea. You scan restaurants for exits automatically, because now rivals know your name too. One bomb destroys a karaoke bar connected to your territory. 2 civilians die. The executives treat it like accounting. Retaliation must be proportional, not emotional. You oversee the response personally. 4 rival associates disappear across 3 weeks. No bodies recovered. Rumors spread intentionally. Fear stabilizes markets better than diplomacy ever could. You understand that now. Your humanity erodes through repetition. Violence stops feeling shocking when it becomes procedural. A tool. Like bookkeeping. Like negotiations. You still visit your mother twice a year. She never asks direct questions. But one afternoon, she notices scars across your knuckles. You look tired. She says quietly, "That sentence hurts more than any threat ever has." Because exhaustion is the one thing power never solves. You are constantly managing crises now. Police investigations, internal theft, territory disputes, disloyal subordinates. Every man beneath you wants promotion. Every man above you expects results. You start sleeping with a gun beside the bed and whiskey inside the nightstand. Some mornings you wake up unsure whether you are protecting the organization or trapped inside it. Then the phone rings again, and you answer automatically. Level 5. The Insider. The meeting lasts 9 hours. Nobody raises their voice once. That is how real power behaves, quietly. You sit inside a private conference room overlooking Osaka while executives divide contracts worth billions of yen. Construction bids, shipping access, casino investments. The family has evolved far beyond street crime. Now it operates like a multinational corporation with better discipline and fewer legal restrictions. You oversee finances across multiple prefectures. Money moves constantly. 80 million yen through a nightclub acquisition, 140 million yen through cryptocurrency laundering, 22 million yen paid monthly to police informants and political intermediaries. The numbers stop feeling real after a while. So do people. A subordinate gets arrested carrying an unregistered firearm. He faces 12 years if convicted. You authorize support payments to his wife. You also authorize eliminating him if he cooperates with authorities. Both decisions happen within the same conversation. That balance defines leadership here. Reward loyalty, destroy risk, never confuse the two. At level 5, your biggest weapon becomes information. You know which detective gambles secretly, which businessman keeps mistresses, which politician owes hidden debts. Leverage replaces fists. One blackmail file can generate more profit than 20 armed enforcers. You attend fewer violent operations personally now. Instead, younger men carry them out while you sit inside expensive restaurants negotiating futures over sushi and whiskey. But distance creates its own sickness. You stop recognizing yourself in old photographs. The younger version of you looks nervous, open, reachable. Now your face rarely changes expression at all. People constantly seek your approval. Nobody speaks honestly anymore. Even intimacy becomes transactional. A woman once asks what you actually want from life. You realize you cannot answer, because ambition consumed the space where normal desires used to exist. The Oyabun begins trusting you directly. That is both an honor and a threat. Trusted men become dangerous eventually. History proves that repeatedly. One evening, he invites you alone to a bathhouse outside Kyoto. Steam fills the room while he speaks without looking at you. Power is easiest to gain right before it destroys you. You wait for clarification. None comes. That is another lesson. At higher levels, nobody explains things clearly. Ambiguity protects everyone. Weeks later, a lieutenant disappears after allegedly skimming profits from shipping routes. His replacement is already prepared before the body is found. The machine never pauses, not for betrayal, not for death, not for grief. Level 6, the lieutenant. You control entire districts now. Clubs, ports, real estate, security firms, political relationships. Nearly 300 men operate beneath your authority directly or indirectly. Some have never met you. Others would kill on your command without hesitation. The structure resembles a government more than a gang. Taxes are collected, disputes are settled, punishments are standardized, loyalty is documented through ritual, debt, and fear. You spend most days inside conference rooms instead of alleys. But the danger intensifies anyway, because executives no longer fear police. They fear each other. Internal politics become lethal. One captain secretly aligns with a rival faction, hoping to replace aging leadership. Another feeds information to authorities in exchange for immunity. You uncover both schemes within the same month. Handling betrayal requires precision. Too much violence creates instability. Too little invites rebellion. You arrange a private dinner with the disloyal captain. He arrives nervous. Good. You pour drinks personally. Better. Then you explain exactly how much you know about his meetings, bank transfers, and conversations. His face empties completely. That moment matters more than killing him ever would. Because true authority means controlling the room before violence becomes necessary. Still, he dies 3 days later in what newspapers call a highway accident. You read the article during breakfast, then continue eating. At this level, morality feels administrative. You no longer decide whether actions are right, only whether they are effective. The isolation grows heavier too. Old friends avoid you. Family conversations stay shallow. Nobody sees the real version of you anymore, because revealing weakness inside this hierarchy becomes suicidal. You attend funerals constantly. Men shot, men arrested, men overdosing. Replacements arrive immediately every time. Young recruits still walk through doors believing power means freedom. You almost laugh watching them. Power inside this world means obligation. The higher you rise, the smaller your life becomes. You cannot travel freely, cannot trust fully, cannot disappear. The organization owns your identity completely now. One evening, you stand alone inside your penthouse overlooking Tokyo. Below, thousands of people cross intersections beneath neon lights. Normal lives, normal fears. You realize you no longer understand them, and they would never understand you either. Level 7, the power broker. By now, most violence reaches you as paperwork. Territory reports, profit margins, casualty summaries, police pressure assessments. You influence industries without appearing publicly connected to them. A single phone call from your office can bankrupt a company or protect it. Banks cooperate quietly. Politicians request meetings privately. Executives from legitimate corporations bow lower than street criminals ever did. Fear evolves with status. At lower levels, you fear dying. At higher levels, you fear losing control. Those are different things entirely. The Oyabun grows older, slower. Rumors about succession spread through the organization like infection. Everybody watches everybody else. Every conversation contains hidden calculations. You survive because you mastered patience, not brutality. You broker alliances between rival factions while secretly collecting leverage against both. Insurance, that becomes the final currency of power. Not money, not violence, knowledge. You know where bodies are buried, literally. You know which prosecutors accept payments, which officers leak raids, which executives secretly cooperate with foreign syndicates. Enough information to destroy dozens of careers overnight. That knowledge protects you more effectively than armed guards ever could. But it also isolates you completely. Nobody trusts powerful men, not truly. Every relationship carries suspicion beneath it. Even loyalty feels rented. You begin suffering insomnia. 3 hours of sleep becomes normal. Doctors prescribe medication under fake names. You drink more, you speak less. Sometimes you drive anonymously through neighborhoods you controlled years earlier. The streets look smaller now. You watch young recruits smoking outside clubs, pretending not to feel afraid. One of them reminds you of yourself. That realization unsettles you for days, because you finally understand the system was never built to reward ambition. It was built to consume it. The hierarchy feeds on young men desperate to become untouchable, then transforms them into prisoners of their own authority. You attend fewer meetings personally now. Subordinates handle operations while you manage strategy from distance. Cleaner, safer, colder. One winter morning, the Oyabun summons you privately. No guards, no ceremony, just tea between two tired men. You already know what comes next, he says. You do. And neither of you looks happy about it. Level 8, the Oyabun. The city belongs to you now, at least partially. Ports move because you allow it. Construction contracts exist because you approve them. Politicians survive scandals because your organization buries evidence before newspapers find it. Nobody sees your fingerprints. That is intentional. Real power becomes invisible eventually. You rarely leave the estate outside Kobe anymore. Security cameras cover every entrance. Armed guards rotate every 6 hours. Visitors surrender phones before entering. The precautions feel endless, necessary. You inherited leadership 18 months ago after the previous Oyabun died from a stroke during negotiations. No dramatic assassination, no final shootout, just an old man collapsing quietly while younger men waited to replace him. That image stays with you, because now you understand the truth he carried. There is no final victory here, only maintenance. Every morning begins with reports, profits, arrests, rumors, potential betrayals, deaths. You authorize decisions worth billions before lunch. You also authorize killings between tea ceremonies and business calls. The contrast no longer affects you. That absence of feeling frightens you sometimes, but only briefly. At the top, emotion becomes a liability too expensive to indulge. You spend most nights awake. The estate remains silent except for distant traffic and the sound of guards changing positions outside. Luxury surrounds you constantly. Private chefs, imported whiskey, art worth millions. Yet your life feels smaller than it did back when you carried envelopes through rain. Because power erased every ordinary thing along the way. Friendship became leverage. Love became vulnerability. Freedom became impossible. Even your own name feels less personal now, more like a title. People fear. One evening during a meeting with regional captains, a young recruit enters carrying documents, probably 20 years old, nervous hands, cheap suit, trying hard not to stare directly at you. You recognize the hunger in his eyes immediately. The same hunger that once brought you through a steel door in Shinjuku at 2:13 a.m. He thinks power means escape. He thinks loyalty earns protection. He thinks becoming feared will make him safe. You almost warn him. Almost. Instead, you sign the paperwork and wave him away. Because the system survives by repeating itself. Always has. Always will. Later that night, you stand alone on the balcony overlooking the city lights. Somewhere below, money changes hands in back rooms. Someone gets beaten for unpaid debt. Someone proves loyalty for the first time. Someone answers a phone call that will ruin the rest of his life. And somewhere across the city, a new recruit is shaking someone's hand for the first time. He thinks he understands the rules. He doesn't, but he will.